There's only one other occurrence where I've gotten the chutzpah, the bravery, to put my hazmat suit on one toe at a time and dive headfirst into the stand-up comedy side of YouTube. It was with a video about Tom Segura. He's a stand-up comedian. He's bald. He's friends with Joe Rogan. That's really all you need to know about the guy. He's not important. But he essentially got into this scuffle with an airline attendant because she wanted to check his bag. Isn't that a bitch? And so he started going on this multi-tweet tirade, just calling her poor and various other random mean words. And I simply said in the video that I think it was a little out of touch of him. I think it was a little weird because, like, it's a common issue. Like, who cares? Let her check your bag. She doesn't need to know that you're a goddamn, like, a massive celebrity. You're bald and white. You look like my dad. Like, you look like everyone else. And so I got very mixed reactions to that. There was, of course, comments like, yeah, that's weirdly out of touch of him. Like, why did he do that? As well as other comments like, hey, you're ugly and I hate you and want you to die. And I was like, ain't that a bitch? As well as people being like, Evan, come on. That's the joke. She's poor. Like, why are you not laughing? And so I realized that the stand-up comedy is a very heavy subject for some reason, because there's a lot of people who like doing edgy stand-up comedy and tend to victimize themselves as victims of the cancel culture. And I want to face this right now. I want to face something really quickly before diving into the actual topic about our comedian of choice today. But edgy stand-up comedy has a use. I feel like edgy stand-up comedy can be extremely useful when utilized correctly and you actually put the effort in, because there are people who deal with genuine issues that are addressed in this stuff, like domestic abuse, racism, sexism, other various isms, right? So wouldn't it be smart and wouldn't it be great if you took those edgy topics and twisted the joke in a way that made it so the people who deal with that first person can laugh at it? Because isn't that the point of comedy? To take a really heavy subject and turn it into something you can feel a little less heavy about. I feel like that's not a hot take. I feel like that is the correct way to look at edgy stand-up comedy instead of doing something like what our boy Matt Rife did. It's really messy, and I want to dig into a video, so just let's strap in. Let's dive head first. Get your hazmat suit ready. So as you can tell from that extremely long intro, Matt Rife is a stand-up comedian, and he got big over TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, posting little short snippets of various jokes that he's done in many different comedy stand-up clubs. And while he does make jokes, I don't think the jokes are the reason he's gotten famous. His jokes aren't exactly the bee's knees. That's an old-ass saying, but his jokes aren't exactly amazing. I think the reason that he's gotten so large so quick is because he looks like a goddamn dream. Look at that man. Like, I'm looking at that and I'm getting a little excited. Like, I'm not even necessarily that into men, but goodness gracious, I can see it. So, of course, very quickly, he grew a largely female audience, and he didn't exactly love that. He talks about in podcasts, because he goes around to many podcasts. He just goes around everywhere talking about various different things. And in one of them, he says this.
I love it because, like, the women will come to the show so passionately. And by the way, this has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Up until, like, April of this year, it was, like, 90% women coming to these shows, which weren't always for the right reasons. And they got there, and maybe they didn't like my comedy, and they go, well, maybe I wasn't a fan for the right reason, which is fine. I appreciate the immediate support, but, like,
yeah.
I'm a comedian more than anything else. So, like, I'm going to do the comedy I want to do. I'm not going to pander to what girls want me to do with the belt thing that went viral for no reason. So they bring their boyfriends or husbands who are always reluctant because they probably bought the tickets.
Right.
They didn't want to be there. And then, like, 20 minutes into the show, they realize, like, my comedy is so much more for guys than it is girls. It's so funny.
You see their shoulders, like, start to relax. Like, their arms, like,
Yeah.
they're drinking their drink more.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
another drink.
My live shows, to me, I've always gone for the tone of, like, I just wanted to feel like a hangout with the boys.
Right.
And of course, I can understand that if you've cultivated an audience that isn't the target demographic that you want to make content for, you shoot to get a different type of audience. But I feel like he's kind of decided to, instead of make content that a different type of audience would want to consume, he just makes fun of the current audience he's gotten. Which is weird, because women in the market have been proven to be a deathly loyal audience. Taylor Swift, for example, is a great case. She could breathe in a certain direction, and there will be people scattering like cockroaches to eat like the oxygen particles that she's dispersed. It is crazy. But instead, he's making content that panders to women anyway. Like, why is he acting surprised, right? And this isn't even the controversy. I'm going to get into that. But first off, why is he acting surprised when, first of all, most of the content you find online about him are about his modeling? Aside from the controversy that I'll talk about, his modeling, he looks like a dreamboat, so of course women are going to flock to him. But that's not necessarily his fault. However, the other thing is, a lot of the popular TikToks and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts that you can find in his channels are about him flirting with the audience or talking to the audience, mainly women, and interacting with them in different ways. So of course you're going to get women coming to your shows wanting that, right? Like, and of course maybe there's the whole idea that he talked about in the clip of him farming these women for their boyfriends, but there has to be more, like, useful ways of gathering the audience that you want, right? But the thing is, so far, most of what I've talked about with Matt has been really not bad. It's been me nitpicking some of the strange things in the beginning of this situation, his career itself. But the issue, and the thing that I actually came to talk to you guys about today, is in his recent Netflix special called Natural Selection. Now, yes, this man has a Netflix special. A TikTok comedian made a Netflix special. So clearly, right off the bat, his fame that he has made mostly off of a women audience has gotten him into Netflix, right? That's pretty huge. And so he makes a lot of jokes, of course, again, against the audience that he has cultivated so far. One of the big ones, and the thing that he claims is like the thing that's been rocked by cancel culture, is his joke about a waitress he saw in Baltimore who had a black eye. And his friend was like, hey, why don't they put her in the kitchen so they don't have to look at her? And it's like, that's weird off the bat. But then he says, no, she's probably in the kitchen because she doesn't know how to cook. Now, you might have been thinking, hey, Evan, that joke made no sense. And that's actually because, no, dear viewer, you aren't going crazy. I actually completely screwed up the entire delivery. See, he was talking about how the reason she had a black eye is because she couldn't cook. See, women, black eye, domestic abuse, those are like the main staples of being a woman, right? Or at least to Matt Rife it is. But anyway, back to the real life me. Wow, what a banger. Now, there is, of course, a way he probably could have worded that joke to make it not ass, maybe funny even, and if that was the case, that would be kind of cool. But of course, instead he reacts to like, wow, you guys are real angry at that, huh? I bet you're pissed, bet you're angry and fuming, when like they're not. People who hear that joke aren't like there aren't blood veins pulsing out of their forehead. They're just looking at you like that was a weird thing to say. Like, you're weird. And like, he immediately defaults to it being cancel culture when like this isn't cancel culture. Even most situations where people immediately default to it being cancel culture, it isn't cancel culture. It's called repercussions for your actions. I feel like anyone who's been to kindergarten could understand that, but I feel like that might be a hard topic for Matt. But of course, it only gets worse from here. That joke wasn't exactly that bad. It fell upon deaf ears because everyone was just like, that was a weird thing to say, you weird human, and moved on. Right? And so he made a story post, I assume, just trying to like re-aggravate the community by saying this. If you've ever been offended by a joke I've told, here's a link to my official apology with a tap to solve your issue button. Now, where do you think that link took you? Because he did not link an apology. I'm just going to tell you that now. I'm sorry to spoil the ending. Sorry to spoil the twist ending. But he didn't link to an apology. What do you think? It's a Google Doc with a Rickroll? No, that would have been funny, and I don't think he knows how to make jokes. He linked it to a medical website where they sell special needs helmets. Yes, because if you didn't like that joke about the wife being beaten, the haha funny wife has black eye, she can't cook, because that's the only two women things that he knows, you're clearly special needs and need a helmet. Oh, you don't want to fall down a flight of stairs or something. Matt, what are you doing, buddy? And honestly, this entire topic is extremely mundane, and I'm doing exactly what he wants. He clearly made that post because his first joke, the joke he made about the domestic abuse, wasn't funny, and that didn't get that much traction, and so he had to make some sort of Instagram story post making fun of disabled people because that will get traction and people will talk about it, including myself. So I've fallen victim, but to be honest, I make daily videos and need topics, so I'm going to talk about things because I want to and I enjoy doing it. That's another thing people will say in like the Tom Segura video is like, oh, why are you so mad about this? I'm not mad. Honestly, I don't give a shit about Matt Rife. He's giving me something to talk about. He's giving me some reason to make funny jokes and make some people laugh. So those of you that are enjoying the video and think some of this might be remotely funny, I appreciate you. And those of you that are hate watching me, I mean, thanks for the view, I guess. I hope you stick around maybe because I don't always just talk about shitty stuff like this. And that's really where the situation lies. It's a very simple situation of him just trying to get extra attention. It's essentially just a cry for attention. That's really all it is. I don't think there's going to be anything else that comes from this aside from maybe a future Netflix special for the boys. He'll call it that. If he calls this special For the Boys, someone has to owe me something. You have to subscribe. There it is. Or subscribe now if you'd like to, because I'm going to be hopping out of here for now. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Maybe like the video as well. And of course, let me give you guys the song of the day. Today, I'm feeling like giving you a cool one. So let's give you guys Rich Girl. It's an oldie, but a goldie. So I'm going to add it to the Songs of the Day playlist. You can give it a listen if you'd like. And I'll catch you for whatever I post next. Tomorrow might be a video about a cup that survived a car fire. You'll see more when it comes out. But thank you guys for being here. You guys are absolutely amazing. Subscribe, as I said, and that's about it for now. I am starving. I'm like sweating from like lack of, my blood sugar's low. I'm diabetic, by the way. Hi. Nice to meet you. Name's Evan. Thank you guys for being here. And as always, adios, arrivederci, goodbye, good night. And yeah, just be a good person. People will like you. I promise. I've said that before, and I'll say it 1,000 times.